Good afternoon and welcome back to the Smite Pro League. My name is Tom Battinger, joined here by Graham Hadfield. And we've got a fantastic set for you now. The conclusion to the European Gauntlet, what is essentially the last chance for the losers to make it with the winners.
And if you actually look at the two teams involved in this, it's Valance versus Energy. Two teams that, if you looked at the summer split and the spring split, you probably would have expected to already be at Super Regionals. But the case is, only one of them is going to make it there now.
Now, if you've actually been watching the fall split like us, this is kind of what you've expected.
Yep.
I think Valance Squad versus Energy here in the finals of the Gauntlet. However, this trip here, I'm not sure. The Poppies really put up a fight against Energy.
They did. There's benefits for Energy as well. Take into account they did get a warm-up because they've just played the Poppies. So they're going to be raring to go, very upset, more than likely. We'll see if they can continue to activate. I mean, or if Valance come in strong.
You say warm-up, man. That was a full-on battle.
Sure. And the thing is, though, that teams that have been experienced before, like they have been in these situations where their back's been against the wall, it does get you fired up. Yeah. Ready for the next round. So we'll see how this goes.
Absolutely. We'll jump into picks and bans right away for you guys. And, you know, the first question I want to ask you, Graham, is with this, you know, we talk about warm-up and the hot hand and everything, but can it backfire? Is it too much of a warm-up to have to deal with that 3-round set from the Poppies?
Well, take into account as well, some of those games went a long time, 50-plus minutes in the last one, I believe. So if it's 50-plus minutes, you go back to level 1 again, and you may start falling into the traps of, I'm not as tanky as I thought, I'm not going to do as much damage as I thought, we have to reset and go again. And specifically, you're against Valance, who are a team that can, you know, put the punishment on you because they have the experience of LAN themselves.
This is a good team, but we have seen Energy, or we have seen Valance struggle against Energy during the regular season. So this, for me, is, I don't want to say coin flip, because I think it does come down to talent, but this is a head-to-head matchup, to say the least. Guardian and Assassin banned out by Valance Squadron here, whereas Energy looking more towards that AMC flavor pick and the Rat. Raijin will be the first selection for Valance Squadron, a good all-around mage in that mid lane.
Really interesting to see Ratatoska starting to get banned more often now, just because he brings very similar things to Thor. A little bit of differences, obviously, but the protection shred really useful. Obviously, the mobility comes into play. The fact he doesn't have to base so quickly because he has that Acorn.
I'm with you as well. It's the early game pressure that he brings. He doesn't have to base like you brought up, but also the protection shred later in the game works out really well. But talking about Shred, Sol and Fafnir, these two characters together, or even by themselves, are just going to make sure that all the objectives that exist in the early game kind of die relatively quickly.
Love the Osiris pick straight away from Valance here. This, for me, is going to answer back the fact that, A, it's going to be Sol in the mid lane, more than likely. Very auto-attack-based character. Same, they're still going to draft a Hunter as well, which means, what do you want? You want something that's going to be able to deal with these auto-attackers a little bit more. Osiris, perfect for that, even with a Fafnir in tow.
Well, the Sobek's going to bring a lot of disruption as well, and Valance Squad, I think, works well with the Sobek on their squad. Energy, however, they opt for Chulainn. Also, I think sort of a side note, the off-brand application. Sobek, you're also taking away from maniaKK, who is a fantastic Sobek player. But instead, we'll get the guy with your accent, Chulainn.
Yeah, it's my accent. Just the same way Sobek is yours.
You're damn right.
Pretty much the same thing, as you can tell. The
Landshark Sobek is basically me.
Pretty much. Pretty much. The ban towards the Hunter is very interesting, though. Obviously, the Neath ban from Valance. We're not seeing much Neath just lately, but if in doubt,
Energy
take it away. It's
Energy
safe.
ban.
It's very good at like being able to influence fights globally without even having to rotate, as well as fantastic, easy pressure in the lane.
It's also something that Energy like to play, whether it's in the mid lane, like you mentioned, or Emma will even play this character and surprise people and beat them with it. So I think the ban of the Neath is a very intelligent ban here. Medusa and Batz going to come out. A lot of control on this Valance Squadron. A lot of even Raijin, a character that you think of as more damage, is still going to have the ability to control the opposition.
Had a feeling it was going to be Thor at the end there with Energy. Obviously, just they want something well-rounded for the jungle, can do well in the early games, set yourself up quite nicely, but at the same time, later stages, control, always issues with split push.
I love all the analysis. I appreciate it. I think it's valid. At the end of the day, if I'm Energy and I want to win, I'm putting Thor on adapting, and we're just going to go take it to the truck. So I think that's what we're seeing out of Energy here. Nice, well-rounded draft coming out from Energy. Valance Squadron, also a well-rounded draft, but they seem to have this idea, this synergy of just pure control. Every character on their team is going to make your day a living hell.
And with the start of this as well. I mean, Valance Squad, the one problem, one thing I see in this game is Valance Squad has sustained teamfight damage, is what I want to say. Obviously, Fear No Evil lasts a few seconds, Lawbster's ult lasts a few seconds, Funballer's petrified, but it's also, you know, just the general damage that he's going to put out. Whereas Energy's composition, it's a little bit more burst heavy. You know, with the Ho-Yi, the likes of the Ricochet combo. For sure. For the Suns, obviously, that's the only real sustained soul ultimate, soul damage. It's all very nuke heavy. So in these team fights, expect Energy to be the aggressors more often than not, be the ones that are looking to burst and get out. Whereas Valance are like, hey, we'll take a sustained fight a little bit more.
I'd like to see Valance Squad succeed here, actually, because we have two different takes, essentially. And Valance Squad seem to be playing the energy take. As Funball sort of winning this trade between emilitoo.
It's a funny little trade between the two there. One thing is that the Hunters you'll always realize as time goes on is the mistake that you make is like, if you're losing the trade, reset. Don't fire the auto, reset with your mobility, and then start again. Some of the best Hunters in the world do that. maniaKK, though. He looks to gank and put pressure on with adapting there, but instead, they come out on the tail end of this a little bit.
Ducky missing the sickle, really important. maniaKK would have been slowed. Not sure if he dies there, Graham, but he absolutely gets down to about a quarter HP, and that completely changes the entire dynamic of the lane.
It's a solid start from Valance Squadron, though, on that right-hand side. You saw it was Thor alongside Chulainn. Chuleinn's got a fantastic level 1. Specifically, when he does manage to get enraged as well, it will come into play and allow him to use a little bit more damage and some extra abilities for himself, too. But now look at this in the duo lane here after Funballer being zoned out from the wave, and emilitoo already level 2, and his Ho-Yi going in the jungle and stealing some creeps. It's not that difficult.
And I am concerned here for Funball. Out of health options, no health pots, no multi-pots, obviously, as he's taken that mana potion to lane. So he's got his last bit of sustain here. He's going to have to dip into the jungle in order to get that Bumbus mass sustain, and Emil's doing a good job of making sure that that's just not an option.
And that's the big key there, is the Bumbus sustain. You need to go in the jungle to do that, but if you're being pressured in the wave every single time, or your opposition has taken the jungle already, there's nothing for you to resustain off. So you've got to be very careful here. And Energy keeping the pressure on this left-hand side a little bit more now. After they cleared mid, they're going to take up the oracles, while emilitoo will get his own purple.
I love Faeles hanging out there on the right side. He can absolutely surprise players with a slow of his own by jumping on in, and then Ducky getting a slow as well. Instead, just going for the damage, overhand smash. Another missed sickle. I know that Energy's warmed up, man, and Valance Squad coming in cold, but you got to hit your stuff.
You do, and this is the pressure game, too. Take into account, only a best of 3. Loser stays home. They didn't say go home. They just stay home until next year.
Exactly.
Everybody else will be, you know, at least on their way to Atlanta to see if they can make it to Worlds and then come back again in January.
With that said, I think, you know, a number of these players probably wind up at Worlds anyway. I know Met Yankee certainly going to make his way down here. He was tweeting, even though his team ALG didn't exactly succeed yesterday in the first half of the Gauntlet, you'll still be able to see him, and I think a number of these Smite pros will still wind up, but you want to wind up on stage, not off stage.
That's true. Just saw Ducky then, once again, having a bit of ability landing these abilities with Osiris at the moment. That is a little bit troublesome. I mean, if you can connect them all, it's keeping the pressure on, but you miss them, the fight can be turned around very quickly because you've not got the extra damage coming out.
Well, it's good for Ducky is that Sickle's on a low cooldown, so he can just keep trying and trying and trying, and maybe he'll finally hit one like he just does.
And now with them both, well, now level 5 adapting there on the right-hand side, you'll see what happens here. Everybody on Valance Squadron hitting level 5 just a little bit hair quicker than that of Energy. But so obviously a bit better in terms of farming and control in this game as it stands.
Yeah, Energy with a nice little lead here, about 200 gold, give or take, and it's pretty much as a result of the invades that Emil's been on, Emil's been on fire today. Looked really strong in the last set, you know, sort of despite the Poppies getting their win. Even in that game, Emil had some nice plays. And, you know, I think emilitoo, I've said this before, that emilitoo is the guy on Energy that seems to have stayed consistent, whereas some of the other players have struggled a little bit. Emil just seems pretty the same thing that we're used to seeing.
It's funny, if you see the Energy team that won the first World Championship for themselves, Season 2, technically second World is the best way of putting it. They had a fantastic time of things, but emilitoo was overshadowed by his team. He wasn't playing bad, just other members stood out more.
Adapting was in prime form.
Season 3 Worlds, different story, right? emilitoo like stands out a lot more, like, yo, he ends up getting MVP for it and keeping the pressure on, and then moving into Season 4, where we're at now, he's the one, the light in the tunnel, I guess, is the way of looking at it.
I mean, and I think it's just a continued consistency. Nice. Yammyn gets taken out by Faeles for first blood. There's adapting.
And the end of Lawbster's ult goes down too, but adapting caught too much. The monkey jump from Faeles was lovely, but no further follow-up. So Valance get first blood, and that's down to a Sobek pluck.
Really scary stuff, though, seeing that play out of Faeles. Faeles is, it's funny how we go into that fight talking about consistency, because Faeles and Valance Squad have been the antithesis of consistency. Faeles comes through with the first blood and then gets a nice little tricky play that is countered by a Tectonic Rift out of adapting. However, seeing how he's awake, man. And Faeles is the type of guy where you watch the first 7 minutes of a game and you tell if he's going to go positive or negative. And right now, Faeles is feeling it, and I think Energy's got to be aware of the monkey.
Funny enough with Faeles, honestly enough, I feel like he's actually stronger than he ever really shows. Mainly because with the teams he's been on, he's not had the chance to grow enough, in my opinion, and learn enough. And that's actually hindered him a little bit more, because I think he could have been a top, you know, not necessarily like Cuvo and adapting, but just below them, you know, starting to rise up. And he needs a team like this to continue to grow, continue to learn, and start to impress even more.
I'm on the other side. Well, I'm going further than you down the road. I think that Danny has an extremely high ceiling. Watching him play on some of the lower-end teams, make his step up. He then played for Elevate, and then makes another step here. You know, I wonder if he had spent more time being the guy on Elevate, because if you look at Valance, he's not the guy. It's Funball, right? It's even Lawbster some days. It's Funball and Faeles as it's drawn up. And then Lawbster kind of sighs deeply and goes, fine, I'll take care of it. But I think if Faeles spends some more time on Elevate, he might be that level.
I think it's actually to do with who leads the team, who's doing what. And Faeles gets to do what he wants. That gives a jungler a lot of opportunities to show what he's got as well and learn from the mistakes, you know? He gets to choose where he's ganking. He's not being led by other people on the team. He's part of this team. He's not necessarily sat there waiting for Lawbster to make the calls for him.
Big point that you bring up as he is a part of this team. As our solo laners just back and back one more time.
Lovely leap.
The Faeles play here, he's a part of this team. You see these guys interact online. You see them play in-game. And I think, although I would have liked sort of Faeles to have, let's say, another year in college on a lower-end team, sort of learning how to work it out, I love this team that he's with, and I think these guys make each other better in-game and out of game.
And that's actually credit, really, to Lawbster and Funballer. Obviously, they were the backbone of this team. They're the ones that had to pick people up after Cuvo and Trix left.
Thor's up.
I think they've chosen pretty well.
Thor's up. They're going to look for the surprise play here.
It's pretty deep, though.
Oh, he's going to land right on BigManTingz. Faeles thinks he's coming for him, so he goes ahead and drops the ultimate on Yammyn, who tosses his right over the wall, and that's a death onto the support. Really nice play from Energy, splitting up the two players and confusing Faeles.
Even better from Yammyn, though, because he was slightly out of position there. He was almost bait, because the way BigManTingz went in, Yammyn has to use his beads, he also uses Disapparate, absorbs the ult from Faeles, uses Disapparate to rotate to his team where the Crocodile is already dead, and we get the free kill. Lawbster can't really do much from that.
It's also the beauty of this. So you're with that Thor play, you're playing off of the sound cue. Thor makes a noise a split second before he hits you, and that's when you release Fear No Evil. By Yammyn being separate away from, instead of being on top of his teammates, he ensures that he's the only player that gets hit by Faeles' ultimate. The other two players are ready and uncrowd controlled to turn right back around and get the kill. So out of position or drawn up by design, either way, Yammyn separates his team, and Faeles has to choose two targets instead of just one.
Not only that, he did actually get the killing blow onto BigManTingz as well, which helps him out a little bit after the tumble he took at the start of the game, where kill credit went over to Faeles there. Faeles was looking to pressure Yammyn again. Keep an eye on that. Faeles is choosing that Sol seems to be the primary focus now. He tried to look at Chulainn, maniaKK in the early game, didn't work out. Now he switched his attention mid.
Yeah, I mean, well, if you're going to look at the solo lane, you're looking early on. This is already too late. You level 10, you got boots, and now you're just going to run away from me, and he'll just be tanky later on. Invade here, come out from the Energy Boys. BigManTingz.
So much trouble. And there's a leap in from emilitoo. So the ricochet will not connect.
Oh, but Thor.
Adapting's having none of this. Is he going to come down? Goes on Funballer, who beads, petrifies. Adapting slowed, but not dead. One hit. He'll survive.
You know, interesting choice there. Adapting chooses to go for the Hunter because it's the higher valuable target.
Don't think he could see him. He wasn't exactly sure. The wall coverage would have prevented him from seeing exactly where Big Man is. If he's not on the mark, Big Man tail whips. He's knocked up in the air. Petrify comes out. Slow hits, damage, blah, 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 blah. Potentially Big Man lives, Adapting dies. Safer play, try and focus the Hunter.
Exactly, and because of it, but rather because of Funball's quick reaction speed, Adapting winds up empty-handed, but alive. And I think that's the key point for the jungler.
Main thing. And I think that's one of the issues Energy's been having this season is staying alive. Like the Bee Gees. Like the problem is it's just like the Bee Gees song. Staying alive is the biggest problem they've had. Because what happened in the previous 2 seasons is that every single time they were getting fights, they would still live at the end of it and get away with scot-free or barely any health. This season, different story. People are committing and dying, and they're not. They actually end up trading out most of the time.
And that's one of the issues for them. You know, when you look at the big picture, going along with your BG's reference, their season needs some CPR, and that's why they're here in the Gauntlet.
Oh, I just saw the blinking mid. Blinking mid came out there from BigManTingz over the wall to pluck adapting. I was just watching him because he was holding the side. Used the blink, pulls in adapting. Adapting didn't have beads there, but he gets away just. Bad news is there's nothing for Valance to do with this right now. Yeah,
Faeles is giving chase. But you see that play comes out at the right time because of all of the jungle camps are down, and that's why you see, you know, the aggressive half plays come out.
All in emilitoo, going to slow him down, but the bead's going to prevent that. Now BigManTingz here, tail whip, great pluck. This should be a free kill. Minions body blocking, the ricochet comes out. Lawbster credit for the kill, but Yammyn's on his way.
Rotation at a mid, but both players are here. There's a big slow and a supernova. And BigManTingz going to fold his hand right about now. Lawbster still trying to take care of players as they filter in. Thor's in the air, but I think he's a little too far to land on a real target. Lawbster blinks away, and he'll be fine. And Faeles lives as well. Lawbster dies from dot tick.
Bluestone pendant, I think, came into play at the end. That's all it took to bring down Lawbster. And so adapting gets credit for the kill.
And the minions. I think the minions also hit Lawbster because he's dealing damage to the opposition. That's true. Adapting falls down, so nice sequence out there, and that's going to open the door for energy looking at the Gold Fury.
Rotation there from Faeles was good, but adapting was well aware Faeles would be on his way, so he goes up, waits, and just looks at it and goes, is Yammyn going to be okay? Yammyn was probably called, like, don't worry, I've got beads anyway. I can still get away from this emilitoo, and I've got iRaffer support. You go and try and kill Lawbster. You try and push him out. They do so, and that gets him a Gold Fury.
That's the power of Thor as well. You know, we talk about setting the pace of the game with Thor and being the first aggressor, or even if things fail and you behind, you can still counter-initiate with a nice Thor ult. But sort of the off-brand application that we kind of forget about, unless you're listening to me because I bring it up every game, is the vision that Thor gives you. And so, like you said, being up in the sky, big deal. Blue buff.
Yeah, it looks like by both teams here. Very interested to see what's going on because Faeles has his ult too. maniaK's ult is now on cooldown, by the way, and Adaption was like, I'm not getting involved in this. My ult was on cooldown. My speed was stolen as well. I'm not too happy. End of the day, Energy won't be too upset because they did get the gold. But there's a lot of rotation from Valance here.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting spot. Lawbster coming over just in case. maniaK very intelligently just leaves that alone. Sure, take the blue buff. Not a big deal. Y'all have first blood, and we are still in the lead. It's all right. We'll just keep on keeping on. Lawbster taking a little bit more damage than he anticipated there from Lawbster, I think. And he'll go back to pace, albeit the easy way.
Realistically, I think the next Gold Fury is probably where the turning point of this game will be. Obviously, if Valance get the next Gold Fury, back to an even game pretty much.
Yeah.
And did you get it? That's when we've got the situation where they're in the lead. Big man, no. But a force adapting to ult. That was a defensive one.
Oh, yeah.
More often than not, he was a little bit worried about getting plucked and didn't want to have to use his beads.
Exactly. If adapting gets plucked and thrown backwards, he loses half of that half HP in the air. He's down to 25%, and then all it takes is Faeles to get lucky with a crit roll. And that's a dead Thor. So better safe than sorry. Adapting blows the ultimate. Because of it, door's wide open.
It is wide open, knowing Thor's not got his ult, but iRaffer's around. emilitoo now in the way. Already, however, Valance Squadron have got this portal demon down to below half.
And they're going to full commit. There's Faeles with everything. But Energy are able to go ahead and steal it, and also steal the life of BigManTingz. Yammyn making it rain, but Lawbster electrifying the field, and he gets taken care of. emilitoo with the double.
And now Ducky's on the run too. He's in trouble. He'll fall down. That's 4 kills now for Energy, and Fire Giant's looking right at them.
13 minutes in, Energy are going to get a Fire Giant.
Fafnir. That's the big key for this Fire Giant. Fafnir can give buffs to his team, tank it up for him as well. There you go. That's just going to increase the attack speed of both Yammyn and emilitoo. Adapting's little hammer will do enough work. Yeah, they lost maniaKK, but hey, Fire Giant for the whole team. There's no chance Faeles can get back in time.
iRaffer don't die. Okay, iRaffer doesn't die. Energy at the 13-minute mark, folks, have a fantastic, fantastic sequence. Big credit to the 2 big Season 4 carries on Energy. Yammyn and emilitoo both wind up with double kills, taking down almost the entire team.
So you know what the issue was there with that portal demon? I love the call from Valance for the portal demon, by the way. They had the opportunity with Adapt and uses it, as we said.
Yeah.
Problem was no one zoned. And you've got Faeles there with the Fear No Evil. He decided to defend it at the actual portal demon, which gives them always a chance to steal it away.
Yep.
If he would have gone further out and stopped some of these people coming in, would have potentially been a different story, a little bit of a better secure chance for them. Because of that, Energy not only get the portal demon, they then win the fight because so much was invested on trying to secure the portal demon, and then they get a Fire Giant too for Energy. They're firmly in control now.
Yeah, without a doubt. You know, it's interesting. These early game Fire Giants, very rare do we see them.
Yeah.
This is actually, if not the first, only the second Fire Giant before 15 minutes that we've seen in the fall split. And it's going to do not as much as you expect.
You'll see. Change your mind on that a little bit, I think, because Sol and Ho Yi take into account with a Fafnir, Tower Shred is a big problem.
For me, it's less about the actual Fire Giant buff and more of the gold that they got from the fight beforehand, and a little bit of the Fire Giant, the bounty that you get for that. Usually when we see the FG taking it like 25 minutes or so, you just barrel down all 3 lanes and nobody wants to fight you.
Ting's dashed, he's got no dash this time round. Emilitoo's coming in with the Suns too. Adapting's in, Hannah will bring him down. You get caught in your dash and you're going to have a bad time. He did have his ultimate available. Not sure if it would have saved him. It may have given him a small window to stay alive, though.
I don't think so, and I give a lot of credit to BigManTingz for that one. Lurking in the waters is deceptive like Raijin. Raijin's a big fat dude, but he's not very tanky. Lurking in the waters, you think you gain some sort of, but you don't. You slow the opposition, and he's getting killed with the Suns falling down. Sure. I like the fact that he holds onto the ult there for a much more important scenario.
Well, without Big Man being there, it's another free tower on the left-hand side for energy, so all the tier 1s now down. And that just leaves Adapting to roam around the enemy jungle, stealing things away. So they stole the red, I believe they stole the purple, they've also stole the blue. Speed wasn't available, so they've taken 3 buffs, the Fire Giant as well, and Gold Fury is about to spawn.
This next Gold Fury is perhaps the most important part of this game. Whoever takes this Gold Fury will likely win the game down a hop, skip, and a jump, unless something incredible happens.
I don't think they can fight, though. The Fire Giant is on 4 members of energy here, and Valance, they just need to try and stall it, if anything else.
Yes, Valance need to make 2 choices. Either go full aggression, do what they did in the Portal Demon, and hope they roll better, or you want to make sure and just stop everything.
Yeah.
I don't think getting a defensive stop here is plausible, so I think they need to full commit.
I don't know about full commit. This could cause them a lot of problems, especially against, like I said, Fire Giant team. Nothing invested. There's Faeles going in Fiddle Weaver, but it's avoided by everybody. Yammyn's used the Aegis. Meanwhile, look at Lawbster's health. He's dying. He's had to Aegis to get away, but the Suns are raining down him too. Over the top comes Adapting, and Lawbster will finally die. Meanwhile, Gold Fury is still alive, but Valance have fallen. 4
players still alive and healthy. Make that 3 is Adapting. Picks up the better part of the double kill. Ducky on the retreat as well. Energy coming right down Broadway. And here's the entirety of Energy eSports collapsing behind the tier 2 tower.
Wow.
And that's going to be the surrender. Hey, man, I think Valance Squadron saw exactly what you and I were talking about. The winner of that next Gold Fury wins the game.
I mean, take into account, they win that fight there. That's why surrender vote came out. But the reason they've surrendered is because Gold Fury is then going to go straight after.
Yeah.
Fire Giant's about to respawn too. You got to fight a team that's got that much gold. It's not possible.
All of a sudden, you wind up 10,000, 11,000 gold down, plus an extra Fire Giant, and really that's the problem. They saw the writing on the wall. 5.1 structure damage done in, and only one of that, you know, the tier 1 tower went down the soul lane. Sure. The rest of that structure damage was a result of the Fire Giant that they were able to pick up there, no problem.
Biggest key, the Portal Demon fight. That's what cost them the game there. Like the call, the decision-making in that fight, though, about zone work and who to control, that's where they lost the game.
Yeah, I'll agree with that one for sure. I take it the next step. I think that losing that fight put them in a position to lose the Gold Fury fight, which lost them the game.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the big point there. Like, I'm just going back to that one fight because the other fights may have gone differently if that situation didn't happen.
For sure. So an interesting spot, an interesting spot regardless of whichever one you want to look at. But either way.